sales meeting of the month of July, which means that the year, you got only, what, 5 months left? Yeah, 5 months left, and you guys, a lot of you guys are rocking it. So, how do you guys plan moving forward in your businesses for the third and fourth quarter, or do you? Are you guys looking at, here's what I've closed in the first 2 quarters? Come on. Here's what I've closed in the first 2 quarters, and then, so Q3, here's what's in the pipe, here's what I'm doing to generate leads. Do you really look at that? Do you predict it? Do you focus on it? Who in here has a plan that they review at least once a quarter? Anybody?
Yeah, once a quarter, but I should be reviewing it.
Right, but you're in coaching though too, so.
Once a quarter, I realized I didn't do it.
Once a quarter, you're like, oh, I didn't do it.
I didn't do it yet. So
Yeah, right.
it needs to be reviewed more.
Okay. I think that a lot of us get so busy working in our businesses, and because you guys are great at what you do, you create deals, you create sales, and so your top salesperson in your company, you, goes out and creates all this business, and then your top administration person in your company, also you, can't handle it, right? Or can handle it up to a point, but your top salesperson creates more business than your top administrative person can handle, right? That kind of thing. So as we move forward, especially if you're in the income boost class, if you're in coaching with me and stuff like that, we're going to take hard looks at the amount of business that you've closed already from in Q1 and Q2, and then what's in the pipe for you, and how consistently you generate that amount of pipe, that size pipe, and what that's going to look like for you at the end of your business. I sat down in one of the coaching groups today. On the Paylog form that we use for coaching, it predicts very accurately what your year-end net taxable is going to be, and you can see it move immediately month to month as a result of what your closed production is. So it's pretty motivating to see that too. I mean, it's really motivating to sit down and go, wow, so I'm looking at my lead tracker, and I generated 20% more leads last month than I did the month before. And I'm looking at my Paylog, and I just gave myself a $15,000 raise for the year on my year-end net, my projected year-end net taxable. You can see it, and when you see it immediately like that, because the problem with real estate is what? The work that you do today, when does it pay off? 6 months, 90 days, whatever, sometime within that period, 90 days out, right? Depending on how long of a term it is. And you guys know how frustrating, you guys in Bold know how frustrating that is, right? You have to generate 20 contacts a day, 100 contacts a week, and do you immediately get paid for all that work? You're working like dogs, right? And you get paid? Did you like go home with your money that day from your 20 contacts? No.
Still waiting.
Still waiting, right? So the very thing about your business and not our business is the delayed compensation keeps you, it takes your focus off of what really matters. And so these two forms, Lead Tracker and Paylog, when you see you can immediately see the correlation between number of leads and your closings and what that does to your projected year-end net taxable. And it's a big deal to be able to look at that. So we use that in motivation. If you're not in coaching, get in coaching. It matters. It keeps you on track. Leave your phones on. Because it's 25 bucks if it rings, and if you answer it, it's $100. Ooh, somebody call Sharon really quick for me. And we've raised $100 so far, thanks partly to me on one of them, and Polly, and I think, Charles's phone rang in Petaluma, so yeah, things are going good. Well, Sue had told me Carrie was going to introduce Julia today.
She's going to introduce her at Petaluma tomorrow.
Oh, so we don't rate? What's up with that? I'm just kidding. So we're going to skip this today.
Who is Julia?
We're going to find out in Petaluma and then here next week.
Yeah.
So now everybody's curious.
Okay, whoa, all right.
Tell us who Julia is.
Julia is a strategic account manager with Prospect. She's a former realtor, former KW realtor down in the South Bay somewhere. And her job with Prospect is to help us loan officers understand more clearly and thoroughly what the realtors are up against, and to, you know, create liaisons with us and give us guidance with establishing relationships. So she'll be in Petaluma.
I like her. I had a chance to meet with her a couple weeks ago, and she's sharp. She speaks our language too. All the weird KW, like acronyms and I'm drawing a blank right now. What do they call it? When you have an abbreviation for something and you pronounce acronym. Yeah, there's something else that they call it too, but that's fine. July top earners, some people in here saw this, some people didn't. I wanted you guys to see this. Some of you guys were not here last week. This is pretty interesting. This is the profit share for 1 month, the month of June. This is what, and this isn't everybody who made any money. This is just the top, what, 14 people as far as profit share earnings from the month of June. So July's almost over, and on the 21st of August, these people and others will have another big giant deposit into their account. And the way this works is, at Keller Williams, when you refer, because there's some newer people in here, at Keller Williams, when you refer people to the company, and that person joins the company and names you as their sponsor, the person, we ask them, just so you guys know how this works, when I'm in a recruiting appointment, what I ask them is, who is the biggest influence on you joining the company? And a lot of times they'll say, well, you, because I'm the one that sits there and tells them about the company and walks them through everything. If they say that to me, the very next thing I say is, well, yeah, Isetta, but I wouldn't even have met you if it wasn't for whom. And then that person says, oh, well, you know, Kelly told me to come talk to you. And then I say, well, that's the person who you should name as your sponsor. And then they say, well, is that the person who's going to mentor me and all that? No. And we have that conversation. So as what I want you guys to know is, first of all, you don't have to do it, but if you do it, I want you to understand how that part is done. So if you refer someone to Keller Williams, have a conversation with them to say, hey, if you do decide to join, just let them know that I'm the person who referred you, and let them know I'm your sponsor. And they're like, okay, right?
So is this like
I got
some
3
sort of
referrals from this guy today.
Is
Thank
this
you.
like some multi-level marketing deal?
Well, no,
Do
it
you have to
actually is not.
recruit people if you join this company?
No, you don't have to do it, and we don't even ask you to do it. But if you're going to do it, I want you to know how it works. And the reason it's not multi-level marketing is because you don't have to buy anything to buy into it, and it isn't even your business. Your business is to go out and sell property. The way it's paid back is like a multi-level marketing payback program, where the first 50% of the profit goes to your first upline sponsor, and then the remaining 50% is distributed up through the next 6 levels above that. That's why people say it's multi-level marketing. It's not. It's the most fair way to pay it back. Okay? That's how that works. So, love it. Anyway, I wanted you guys to see that. Diana Grasiski's loving it. Oh, by the way, the month before that, Rick Warner got a check for like $3,900. So, it's pretty cool, and you don't have to sponsor people into this office. I mean, it's global. It's actually nationwide, and then if you go global, then it's gross share, which is even more money. Yes,
How
Chris?
many agents have these top producers brought in, ballparkish?
I'd have to go look, but I can tell you that Diana Grasiski's only got about 2 or 3 people in her level 1, you know, the people who she's directly brought in, and then they've brought some people in too, but she doesn't have a huge tree. She brought it, almost all that money is a direct result of one person that she recruited, she referred to me, who got recruited to the Petaluma office, who in their first 3 months in the business, like closed 4 deals for over $1 million. You know who that is? Jim Lynch. He's a fireman in Petaluma, has a big sphere of influence. All the brokerages wanted him. And it took, it was a lot of meetings before he ended up coming here, because they knew what kind of influence he had in the community, and he's loving it here and we're loving him, so.
And once the person is downline capped, does that mean you don't get any more profit share from them?
From them, that's correct, because what's profit share? Profit share is a share of the profit. It requires a couple of things. The company that they're in has to be profitable, or there's no profit to share, right? We're very, very profitable. You guys see that we've profit shared like $188,000 just this year since January 1st. I believe it's on the check back there if you want to take a look on the wall over here. And the other thing that it requires is that, like, if I sponsored Izetta and she's in my level 1 downline and we have $50,000 to share back for July, but she capped in June, whatever her production is not going to contribute to the profit in July because she's keeping all of her money, which is one of the other great things about our company. So that there's no profit to share based on her production. So that's why you want to continue. The people who consistently have a lot of profit share in their accounts every month are people who have about 15 people in their level 1 of their profit share tree. Because about 15 people runs across the spectrum of months as far as, you know, when their anniversary dates are and when they cap, right? Tony Brody came and taught the entire class a while back. We videotaped it, and it's up on youtube.com/Roy Merlino. In fact, if you just go to andrewboyan.com, you can click, his site is now the definitive site to go to for everyone in this company to immediately find what you're looking for that will take you 2 days to find if you don't go there, right?
And
So,
other people go get it also? I mean, it's not exclusive to.
Andrew? And no, well, you won't be able to watch some of the stuff if you're not a Keller Williams agent, because some of the stuff will require you to log into kw.com in order to get, right? And then all.
YouTube.
Yeah, they're talking about you.
Yeah, we're talking about andrewboyan.com.
What about it?
That it's the definitive site for finding stuff that would otherwise take you 2 days. And Izetta said, some of the stuff, can anybody watch all of it, or do you have to be a Keller Williams agent? Like stuff that's private for our company, how does that work? It points them to the resource, right?
It points them to the resources, and most of the resources are going to be just your kw.com credentials, the same ones that get you into your intranet and back office. For the videos and some of the other tutorials, it's going to ask you to create a profile, and just like on your websites, it's just going to ask for first name, last name, and email address, and that'll let you log in. From then on, I get an email, and it tells me exactly who is creating profiles, and I have access to either say permanently allow access, delete this profile, find this profile, or do anything I really want as an admin. But essentially, I'm tracking who logs in, creates profiles, and has access.
So would there be benefit if there was a particular session that we thought was valuable and we wanted to invite another agent, another company to see it? Can we do that?
As long as you send it, I think the easiest way to manage that channel would send a request to Roy, have him forward it to me with a yes or a no, and then I will do as I am told, for I am a pawn in the grand scheme of things.
It's a nature one.
Oh yes, happy pawns get paid.
Yeah.
He's anything but a pawn. Sure, but he's
I think you're more like a rook.
I'll take it.
Does that answer your question pretty well? Stick around, because we're gonna have more questions.
Okay.
So like I was saying, Michael referred me just 3 people just this morning. And here's, maybe you can speak to this, but here's kind of how that works. All of you guys, look, we're not asking you to do this, but the truth is, no matter what company you were at before you came here, you probably were responsible for someone else joining that company at some point. Why not get compensated for it? And you don't want to throw up on people about how great your experience is here. I mean, because that's really, what we don't want you to do is recruit. If you decide you want to, in the course of your normal business, you should refer. And the best dialogue is this: hey, I can tell you what KW has done for me, but in reality, your needs and your business may be completely different than mine. Why don't you do this? Just meet with Roy. He's not going to harangue you about coming there, and at least you'll leave with options. That's the easiest, slickest, smoothest way to do it, and they almost always meet with me. And I promise you guys this: I'm never going to betray that trust. If that's the way you're doing it, I'm not going to harangue them. You can ask anybody who's ever been, there are people in here who have been recruited by me. Kelly, Allison, Chris is in the process right now, right? You and I are talking. Have I harangued you guys? Was I relentless? Was I all over you? You needed to be pushed. That was different. She's sitting back there going, yeah, he's a jerk. No, no, I know. But did I, for the first meeting, was I all over you about meeting with me for the first meeting? Or did we just set up a meeting and it was kind of like, hey, well, you'll have some options, right?
Right.
Yeah. Then once we met and she told me what she wanted and she wanted to be pushed, then I was like, oh yeah, it's all good.
Careful what you ask me, what I used to say.
So don't be afraid of that, and don't go the other route, which a lot of people do too, especially if you're excited about what you're getting from us. Is, oh my God, it's awesome! You got to come here. Look at, I did this, and now I'm doing this, and well, we do this, and we're going to go make camp, family reunion, blah blah blah, bold, yah yah. That doesn't work. That doesn't work in any kind of sales. All right? Does anybody have any questions about that? I just wanted to show you this again because there was a lot of people who weren't here for this last week. Very cool. So let's talk about some successes from last week to this week. Who in here had something go right last week?
I'm out.
I love it. Allison, you have a success. I know you do.
Oh, well, through Bold and our contacts, I contacted all, or as many as I could get hold of my old clients, and I ended up listing one of my old clients' houses.
Awesome. Way to go. Allison, because of a mistake that her team leader in Bold, not me, but her Bold team leader made, was sent an email, which I was copied on, which said, you have fouled out of Bold. You're out. Which means what? Her $800 is gone because we're not going to pay her back, and you know, and it was wrong, right? But at the time, she didn't know it was wrong. I didn't know it was wrong. She's going on vacation, and so she got like crazy, insane idea to do what in one day?
But I didn't do it.
You were close.
Yeah, I was close. I mean, I just couldn't.
How many contacts did you make? So when we talk about contacts in Bold, let me be clear. We're not talking about she picked up the phone to try to get a hold of somebody. We're talking about she spoke to somebody either on the phone or face to face. How many contacts, the most you ever made in a day?
That day was 71.
Yikes.
But
71
She's working.
you were supposed to get 100. But I mean, I
Has anyone in here ever contacted 71 people in one day? By the way, what else do you have to do to count it as a contact? You have to ask them
to buy a house,
for business.
sell a house, or invest in real estate.
What's the exact script? Say ring ring. Say ring ring. Come on, help me out. People are gonna love this. Say it. Say ring ring.
Ring ring.
Hello?
Hi, is this Roy?
Yeah.
Hi Roy, this is Allison Johnson at Keller Realty. And I am just following up with you today to see if you might know of anybody that is looking to buy a house, sell a house, or invest in real estate that I could call today.
No, I don't know anybody.
Okay, do you want me to give you a little bit of time to think about it?
Geez, I don't know. I'm kind of busy right now, but if I think of anybody, I'll give them your card. How about that?
That would be great. Can I follow up with you in a couple days?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, great. I'll call you back in a couple days.
Okay. All right. See you later. Click. That's a contact. She asked me for business. And does it always go that way, or do sometimes they know somebody?
Sometimes they know somebody right away.
Yeah. Isn't that awesome? Here's the truth of real estate. This is why I wanted you to share that, because I knew that you had been through the ringer in Bold. The truth in real estate is, and we talked about this in coaching today, right? The truth in real estate is, here's your only business, your only job. How many people can you get in front of and ask them for business? Everything else flows from that. Nothing else matters. Everything else in your business, honestly, and you guys, some of you will argue about this, but this is true. Everything else in your business can be done by someone else. But the person who generates the leads owns that business. There are people who all they do for their business is generate leads. They don't go on listing appointments or buyer broker agreement appointments. They have people in their business who do that. It's an awesome business to be in. Do you have to grow your business to that point and be that person? No. But no matter what level you decide to do business at, your business is how many people can you get in front of who might need to buy or sell? How many people can you contact and ask for business? That's it. And that's really all Bold is. It's not training. Yeah, there's amazing scripts. There's fantastic scripts. How many scripts do you guys have? They give you a freaking stack of them.
Oh,
right?
yeah, there's a bunch of them.
Yeah, you guys have a ton of scripts, ton of cool things, and everybody, and you know this because there's an industry built around our industry. You guys get called by these people every day. Hi, I'm calling from web company XYZ, and we have a lead for you in your area, and we're just looking for real estate agents in there that are ready to take our listings, right?
Mhm.
And what are they really doing?
Pulling people off the internet and charging you for it.
Right. What does Zillow do? Zillow is so good at generating leads that now you buy leads from them, some of you. That now brokerages are partnering with them, right? The truth is, the reason Zillow exists, the reason these web companies exist, is because as an industry, we are not good at getting leads for ourselves anymore. One of the greatest ways to recruit an agent is to sit in front of them and go, hey, if you come to my company, I'm gonna give you leads. And the truth is, I will. And so will all these other companies who tell you they're gonna give you leads, but they're only gonna give you just enough, just whatever they can give you. It's never gonna be enough leads to really have a business, and even if it is, who owns the business? You or the person who gives you the leads? So our industry, I'm really passionate about this. In fact, I wrote a post about what's going on right now with Zillow and Trulia, and we're gonna talk about that in a few minutes. And I know we got off track, this is about successes. But watch what's happening with Zillow and Trulia and the test marketing they're doing with the coming soon status with PU. This is a big deal. This is a big deal. We'll talk about it in a minute. Who else has a success they want to share?
Oh, I do.
Yes.
Okay. This is a follow-up on, for those of you at the meeting last Monday, on Monticello door knocking, okay? Rather than Monticello, I went Montebello. Okay,
That's great.
door knocking.
Yeah.
And I ran into somebody who now is a listing lead for me.
Nice.
Yes.
What was your script at the door?
Ding dong, you're the guy.
Yeah?
Hello.
Thank you for you.
My name is Jeanette Lynn McFall, and I'm here to introduce myself in person in case you've been thinking about selling your home. Have you been thinking about selling your home?
Your timing is freaky. Where do I sign?
Okay. That's what he said, on and off. I'm here and
You
on.
think about it on.
I'm here and on. Oh, really? Did you know that the house next door is for sale? You started seeing the
No.
sign, right? It's right
Well,
next door.
Oh, yeah, we saw the sign, yeah.
Okay. Here's some information on it. This
Mhm.
is what they're asking for. Your house is so much nicer than that house, though.
Whoa.
Yes. Too much, yeah, you're right, too much bright orange.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and yours is a much better location, you're a little
Right.
higher up on the hill as well. I think we could probably take your home up a notch.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, cool. Well, come on in, let me
Yeah,
show it to
yeah,
you.
yeah. Okay,
Did they
so-
invite you in?
Well, I don't have your phone number, can I follow up with you? Can I get your cell number from you, please?
I don't know about my, how about I just give you my email address?
No, I got the cell number from him. Okay.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay.
That's
All
awesome.
right, and I'm here on and off, so when should I call you back on your cell? When would you like to hear back from me? Next week's perfect. I will call you next week.
Perfect. Awesome.
This week, so I'm gonna call.
Way to go. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Did you get an email address as well?
What for? I'm gonna call him.
I know you're gonna call me. You send them a couple of things in between now and then. That's good though.
I was
That's
gonna send him a
awesome.
letter, but I couldn't figure out how to do the word, so I'm just.
Hi.
Sue helped me, and I still couldn't get it.
Jeanette, that's awesome.
I had to
Way to go.
Yeah.
Who else has a success they want to share from last week? Timothy.
Well, I had 2 very successful open houses this weekend. We've got probably 6 very good, substantial leads.
How many people came through?
Total about 15 or 16 total between the 2, but it's about quality, not quantity necessarily.
Sure. Yeah, that's fantastic. And on the people that came through, did you ask them for business?
I was focusing on their needs
Right.
at the moment, but I will.
Well, that's it. That is how you ask for business, by focusing on their needs, right?
Right.
Yeah. I was just asking because I know you're in bold, right?
Right. Mhm.
Yeah. That's a fantastic leveraged opportunity to make contacts as well. Way to go. That's fantastic. Six leads. Way to go. Awesome. Who else has a success they want to share? Andrew.
not so much a success, so much as an announcement success in
Okay.
progress.
Announce it.
EH, I'm sure you all have known, as of last Wednesday has been
They did the big update.
emotional. So they're working sometimes, they're not working sometimes. They're trying to figure out a lot of things behind the scenes. In my head, I get it, it makes perfect sense, I'm not upset. You know, if you understood all the ones and zeros, it probably would as well, but at the end of the day, you guys are using this as your CRM, so it's frustrating. What I've been told by them is, we of the IT department appreciate your patience and understanding in this matter. A resolution will be available shortly. In the meantime, what you're basically dealing with the ups and downs in are your marketing, your emails, and your campaigns. At sometime during this week, this whole transition will be done. And the intranet, the docs, the black box, the fun stuff that you can do there, just no marketing, no campaigns, no outside access for now, really. That being said, I decided that this week would be a prime opportunity for me to post on andrewboyne.com how to get your profiles to 100%. So you have access to get in there, everything that you would need to be able to do to get your EH profiles up to snuff so that when the updates are done, you'll have easy utilization of my marketing and things on those lines. It is all step by step, and there's companion pictures and wording, and again, I'm here to help if you ever need a hand with it. That would be pretty much what I've been doing with the last 7 days, is successfully navigating market leaders' patience and understanding, and finding things for you to do in the meantime.
Awesome.
So if you guys need anything else, Daphne?
Does it mean I should, because I've been putting people on campaigns, should I just wait until everything's resolved before I put anyone new in there?
You can keep putting people on campaigns. Campaigns are paused, essentially, until they figure out what's going on, because
The double,
yeah, 0's better than
Yep.
5 emails per day. So that's what they're thinking.
Yeah, you get a bunch of unsubs if they didn't pause your campaigns, because there were people that were getting like 5 of the same email from the same
They
email.
made an executive decision early on to just pause everything while we're doing this. It's been difficult, but there is, you know, I've seen a little bit of the behind the scenes of what's coming, and it is fruitful. There is a lot of simplification going on. We all know EH has been convoluted and emotional to deal with, so it's going to be better as soon as it's done being worse. That's pretty much where we're at. Alright, enough of me.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Andrew.
guys.
Any other, that was a success? Any other successes from last week to this week that anyone wants to share? Yes, Patty.
I'm starting to get phone calls now that we updated our team picture, and I'm in it from people that I've known from my past. Hey,
Nice.
I saw your picture in the press.
That's great.
Great,
Awesome.
great. I'm so glad. Well, you know, I depend on people like you to let me know when you have a friend or family interested in buying or purchasing real estate or making an investment. So I
That's
just
awesome.
said, you know I will. You know,
Yeah.
and then they'll say, you're gonna do great. And you know I can do great is with your help.
That's awesome.
And so that's
There you
been
go.
nice. And
That's
I'm-
cool. So you
I'm
get
just
phone
starting-
calls from that, that's
I'm
fantastic.
starting to get phone calls, so now I'm getting a little brand going, and I'm starting to get escrows closing, and so it's taken a while, but things are starting to roll.
Awesome. Way to go, Patty, that's fantastic. Yes,
I
Jan?
had a success. I got a referral buyer from another agent in the Bold program.
Oh, you mean like you got a referral from an agent outside of the wine country because
Yeah.
you went to Bold
Thanks for
in a different city?
making it clear for everybody.
okay.
Yeah. So what he said is what happened. So that was pretty cool. You know, 300,000-400,000 all cash, looking for land, actually reasonable and in line with what the market will deliver for her,
That's awesome.
and all from going to that class, and really cool.
I can say,
That's fantastic.
I can say ditto to that. I got one from one of the ladies down there.
In Palo Alto?
They're looking for a duplex up here in the wine country.
Nice.
450, 500,000.
Nice. That's fantastic. So a lot of you guys know that we are going to have Bold in the wine country in the spring. In order to make that happen, we need to pre-register 50.
I'm in.
Yeah, I know you're in it. And the thing about that is we'll get agents coming here from other areas to Bold as well. So these
We could
things,
actually invite other agents here.
of
to
course,
Bold?
yeah. Oh, by the way, yeah. Since I know you're focused on referring agents to Keller Williams, because I got free from you today. All of our education that we do is a phenomenal opportunity to actually walk the talk. Instead of telling them about who we are, or me telling them about who we are, just bring them. We don't recruit them, we're not gonna harangue them, and they get to come and see the difference instead of hear about it. It's kinda cool. So yeah, we're gonna have Bold here in the spring. Greg, you were raising your hand about a success?
Yeah, I actually got an offer accepted on Friday for Gemma Court, it's our Gemma Circle.
Nice.
It's been a client that we've been working with for quite some time now, but finally got that offer accepted and ready to go. It's been kind of exciting. It's a lot higher than I've ever dealt with before.
That's awesome. What is it? What's the range?
750.
Nice.
750. They met us in the middle. We asked for 20,000 in credit, but they gave us 10, and surprisingly, our client took it. So
Nice.
it was just presenting everything to them and just getting everything started has been very exciting. So
Awesome. There you go. That'll be good. Good. Anybody else have a success they want to share? All right, how about haves and wants? And specifically, when we talk about haves and wants here in this kind of a market, what we're looking for is who has a listing coming that's not currently in MLS that they would want to share, a la Zillow's coming soon category. Okay? Yes, Mike?
All right, I've mentioned this before, but it's actually coming this week. I have 8 acres on Irwin Lane. It's an estate parcel with a 6-bedroom septic system already in. It's set up for horses. It's got a 3-car garage, a barn, workshop area, and a beautiful granny unit. They decided to not build the estate home because they're moving, so it would be great for an owner builder. It's surrounded by vineyards, so it will be good for a hobby vineyardist. And anybody that's looking for horse property was already set up with that. It's got, I have to look at my notes because I don't know what all those things mean, but you know, it's got the arena and it's got the arena and the stalls for the horses and some other stuff. So we're going, I'm meeting Will out there at 5, we're gonna shoot it, and we're just gonna decide whether to hold it off until next weekend or get it on for this weekend. So
What's the price?
it's gonna be listed at $7.99, or it is listed at $7.99, because we have the listing signed.
Awesome. Awesome. There you go. Who else has something coming? Yara.
I got a really, really cute Victorian in Ukiah. It's 2-bedroom, 2 full baths, and on the same lot is a second unit, which is more of like a modern 2-bedroom, 2 full baths. So it's 2 separate houses with a really cute carport in between, in downtown Ukiah, 469. It looks really cute. Did I say that? It looks really cute.
Sounds like it might be cute.
It's cute, and good for an investor or someone who
How
might want.
cute is it?
You'll just have to see. And then in 1 to 3 weeks going on the market is I think it's 893 Belmarin Keys in Novato. I guess it's on the swamp side, not the bay side or something like that, because it didn't work for Izetta's investor. But it is literally waterfront property with its own little private dock. It's a total fixer-upper. Yeah, well, it's looking kind of brown there. I was there, it's a total fixer-upper. The comps are like in the 850 range. We're gonna low list it at 650 with a home and pest inspection. It's 1,400 square feet, 4-bedroom, 2-bath. And then I have a buyer's need. My beta buyers need a replacement home. They're willing to go land up to maybe 300,000 as long as it was more than a half an acre, or they can do a home up to say 650 or 700. Single level is all they really care about. Northeast Santa Rosa or Sebastopol. Please.
Cool. Who else has something coming they want to share?
Deborah. Yeah, in Petaluma. Husband is signing on Wednesday. He's still working on it. He's doing some work on it, so it's gonna look a lot nicer now. It's gonna be in the high 3s, so that'd be a good entry-level home for somebody. And it'll probably come on the market once he's finished all the work, but he's gonna sign his half of the contract on Wednesday. And then the wife signs separately.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I
Did you
have
see
a
a price?
buyer need.
Okay, let's hear it.
I need a fixer under 4, pretty much anywhere.
Cool,
Contractor wants to buy a project.
awesome. Timothy?
I've got a buyer need, 650, possibly up to 750, depending on how much work, may not have to be done. Grace Track, Annandale area, 040509, an acre or more, 3 bedroom, 3 bath. He's all pre-approved, ready to go through Prospect.
Cool.
Oh, Mike, on that fixer, how high does he wanna go?
4.
Oh, okay, I may have something coming up in Bennett Valley.
Cool.
It looks
Talk
like it's
about
a
it.
cosmetic fixer.
Awesome. Did you have something? Daphne?
I have 2 buyer needs. One would be, they can go up to about 850. They'd like a view. They'd like it fixed up, but they could also go lower and do fix up themselves. For whatever reason, 3 bedrooms plus a workspace or an office, or 4 bedrooms can work. And I think a lot of it is just getting it to pencil out, right? At East Side, Santa Rosa is ideal. If, we've seen pretty much everything out there. If anyone has anything coming up, let me know. I also have a second home buyer who is looking for, and they can go up to 2 million. They like a pool, and they like 4 bedrooms, and because there's kids and people visiting. It's Santa Rosa, Healdsburg. They don't want it too hot, so, not maybe out in Geyserville.
How big of a yard?
I got it.
I think it needs to be private,
I got it.
country, feel like second home. Okay,
See each other.
Yeah.
yeah.
Right on. Sounds good.
That sounds like you're describing Montebello. I could see through.
Yeah, we're gonna look at Montebello, but you gotta go through so much city to get up there. You gotta go through Wickiup, and so, I'm gonna see if we're gonna see Montebello, yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Anybody else have something? Yes.
375, single guy, can go with a 2-1, loves Montgomery Village area, but any place else. 2-1, folks, not. Anybody has a 2-1?
Yeah. Right on. Anybody else? Greg?
Gonna be listing a property probably by Thursday in Novato. It's a 3-1, about under 1,100 square feet. If you have anybody in Novato, I'm gonna try to see what maybe you can help me out. How do I find out when their broker's tour is?
I can talk to you.
Okay. All right.
All right, anybody else? I have a success that I want to share. We switched, but I have a couple of successes some successes that I want to share. Chelsea Lavasios just joined our company, working with Yara. We've been talking for a long time. Your success is you got everything together and you're rocking now. Your license is done, right?
It is.
And then Chris Blackburn is going to be signing up today at 4 o'clock. He is actually coming back to Keller Williams from, how long ago were you here?
I want to say 5 or 6 years.
5 or 6 years ago? Yeah, so we're excited to have you back. Yeah, so that's really cool. I just want you guys to maybe welcome them and stuff. Anybody else have anything they want to share before we move on? Okay. Calendar. The reason the 30th is blank is because what's the 30th? Wednesday. What's Wednesday?
Graduation.
Old graduation, yes. So I'm gonna go down there with them for their graduation in Palo Alto. And then they're gonna come back and there's gonna be this giant palpable sense of relief. So, but here's what's going on here. We're gonna do bold download for a little bit here coming up. I wanna talk, when we did a tiny bit of it already. 130 income boost. And then this power hour in Petaluma, if anybody in here is gonna be in the Petaluma area tomorrow morning, that is worth attending. They get together and go over scripts at 8:30, and then at 8:45 they start calling. It's pretty fun. The Petaluma sales meeting, then we do a bold download down there. And then the McCall Team Mastermind on Thursday. Who in here wants to talk a little bit about the McCall Team Mastermind? I know, Allison, that you're at it a lot. I know, Kelly, you're at it a lot. Who else goes to it? Isaiah goes to it a lot.
In the last 2 weeks, and I'm not gonna miss one, unless I'm out of town.
Why wouldn't you miss one?
I think they go over such usable information, especially as a newer agent. Like right now, we're going over contracts and ways to write up your contract to get it accepted, and I think it's just incredibly useful.
Yeah.
I think it's useful.
And the bonus of that
Yeah,
too.
and let's
What were you
do
just
like
saying?
you and-
Did you guys hear that? Izetta's been in business for a while. And she said, I think that, and she just talked about going over contracts, she goes, I think it's useful as an experienced agent. Why?
Well, because we are doing, we're exchanging information.
Right.
And it's like, it's competitive to get a contract accepted right now. So if you can just tweak a little bit, you know, just what you say and how you say it, because someone else has figured out a better way of saying it, you can make your contract more compelling.
Mhm.
So I'm loving it. I mean, I think it's great.
That's the nature of a mastermind, huh?
Yeah, it is.
Is that like this many heads are better than one,
Mhm.
right? I like masterminds better than like lectures or class teaching with no participation, that kind of stuff. You get so much more out of something like that where you sit down. I mean, I learned some stuff. I sit down in there with them and I'm like, oh wow, that's a way better way to write that in the contract. It's way more compelling. It's gonna make a lot more sense, and it's a lot easier for the listing agent to then sell that to the seller if it's written that way, right? Yeah, very cool. Anybody else want to have any thoughts on that mastermind? Okay, so it's totally worth your time. 8 o'clock in the East office. You should be there. Don't miss it. There's some food there too, usually.
Yeah, Trish always brings food.
Yeah, Trish bring the food. I'm waiting for her to bring basketball. I'll be there with ice cream.
Got it there.
I know it's there, but I try to avoid it. So, because ice cream is my thing. All right, so really quickly, the practice tip for regarding keeping texts, tweets, and other electronic communications. So it's not just emails, okay? In the spring of 2013, the Real Estate Bulletin, Cal BRE, issued a policy statement that agents and brokers were required to keep all electronic communications, they call them ECs, with their clients, including emails, text, instant messages, tweets, etc. This has created much confusion in the brokerage community. The background, the law, the Basics and Professions, Business and Professions Code Section 10-148 reads in part, a licensed real estate broker shall retain for 3 years copies of all listings, deposit receipts, canceled checks, trust records, and other documents executed by him or her or obtained by him or her in connection with any transactions for which a real estate broker license is required. And then it continues. And then B, Cal BRE policy statement. Cal BRE took the position in 2013 that like other documents, the writings obtained or executed by a licensee in connection with a transaction for which a license is required, EC associated with licensed acts must be maintained as well. Electronic communications must be maintained as well by the broker as part of that transaction file for how long? 3 years, right? The new legislation effective January 1st, 2015, to clarify the issues and remove the difficulty in complying with this policy, CAR sponsored legislation AB 2136, which was signed by the governor and which amends both Business and Professions Code regarding the broker of record retention requirements and Civil Code 1624 statute of fraud, specifying which documents must be in writing to be enforceable. Business and Professions 10148 now has this added language. This subdivision shall not be construed to require a licensed real estate broker to retain electronic messages of an ephemeral nature, as described in subdivision D of section 1624C of the Civil Code. Okay. Civil Code 1624 now has a provision which states an electronic message of an ephemeral nature is not designed to be retained or create a permanent record, including but not limited to a text or instant message, is insufficient to constitute a contract to convey real property. So what our attorney is saying is that now, after this language, well, let me just give you the practice tips. The new law relates only to electronic messages of an ephemeral nature, such as text, instant messages, tweets, and the like. These no longer will be required by Cal BRE to be in broker files. You must still treat emails. Like, emails are not ephemeral.
What is ephemeral? Is that like a guy who's kind of not masculine?
Darn. Ephemeral nature, easily, like they degrade. They don't last, they degrade, like they
Like my
decay.
looks.
right? And they're not designed to be kept. It's hard to keep text. You have to go get another app that keeps them for you, right?
So we don't have to do that.
It's hard to keep Facebook instant messages. You don't have to do it. However, if you have a conversation with a client or an agent about a contract on Facebook instant message or by text, and you read it and you're like, yeah, I want to remember this was said, keep it.
There's a program that Russ told me about that automatically will save your text messages.
It'll log them
as an email.
If you have a Droid.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah, I don't know
well,
if it has it.
there's one for iPhones too, but the truth is, you can also just copy them and paste them into a Word document and put it in a file too.
So if you don't have a way to keep them, such as an old-fashioned phone like the kind I have, then they don't expect you to.
No, they
Well,
do
if you're
not. And they don't expect you to, even if you have a way to keep them now. According to this, text messages and instant messages and stuff like that are ephemeral. However, I'm just saying, keep it if it applies to your transaction and you want to keep it when you're reading it, right?
Yeah.
You smart. Anyway, that's that. I had a couple of opportunities over the weekend to return some phone calls from people that are, a couple of them in the Petaluma office and a couple of them out here, who are prospecting for sale by owners and expireds. And this objection came up a couple of times, and that is, when you're doing the for sale by owner script, and they say, and you say, you know, it's fantastic, it's congratulations on, I noticed your house is privately available, and I'm just calling you to see how, I'm a real estate professional with Keller Williams Real Estate, what I can do to help you. And they say, what? What do they say?
Bring me a buyer and I'll pay you 3%.
Bring me a buyer, I'll pay you 3%. And then the people I was talking to was like, I'm stuck after that, because I had told them, you don't go in there and say, yeah, I'll bring your buyer and we'll just, you know, blah, blah, because that's dumb. That's like teaching, first of all, it teaches them that what they're doing is really gonna work, and does it work? Usually, no, usually it doesn't work. Sometimes it does work, but very rarely. So I wanted to.
What is the reason that it usually doesn't pan out?
The reason, when you say, I'll bring you a buyer, because then you go in there and they want you to bring them a buyer, and you end up doing the deal for your buyer, and they're self-represented and they don't know what they're doing, so then what do you get to do?
You gotta do both sides and you only get half the paycheck.
Yeah, which we don't do actually here. We're having a couple of deals right that way right now, where our agents are calling me going, can I just please send them the TDS? I'm like, nope. Nope, but they can go to the board office and buy one themselves, but we don't send them the TDS. Why don't we do that?
Creates a
Liability.
Means you're their agent. The minute you send them a document or help them with a form or anything like that, you're their agent. And you're responsible for the transaction, and you have now a fiduciary responsibility to them to represent them in the deal.
Well, I just got that objection about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, so you're gonna love this then.
Yeah, well, the other thing is I mean, the guy, the for sale by owner is saying he's just gonna hire a real estate attorney to represent him. So that may work out, I don't know.
It may, sometimes it does.
Hey, it's Kevin Warren with Yes Man.
Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I can tell you that there's a deal going on right now in our office where the seller hired a real estate attorney because he was gonna sell one of his investment properties to his daughter. That person hired a real estate attorney to just do that deal and create an exchange. And then he's gonna use that money from that deal to exchange into one of our listings. And he's about to lose the opportunity to have that tax deferred exchange because the attorney did not do it. Didn't know what he was doing, claims he was never told he was supposed to write actually do the sales contract, the purchase contract between the owner of that home, and we have nothing to do with that. Keeps trying to involve our agent as a listing agent in that transaction and get us to do it, which we're not gonna do, right? Because we're not getting paid on that. Why would we wanna be in that? And now it's gonna jeopardize their entire exchange.
Why won't they just pay him a commission to do it?
Well, they're way behind the 8 ball now, but yeah, they can do that. And that may be what ends up happening. But so, just because somebody's an attorney and is real smart, knows what they're doing, and that doesn't mean that they know. In fact, I've worked for attorneys before when I was selling that couldn't get out of their own way to buy a house. you know, they change stuff in the contract and line it out and do this.
Yeah.
And in a competitive market like this, why would your seller ever take that deal? That's like an advertisement that, hey, I'm gonna buy your house, then I'm gonna sue you. So why would you ever take that deal? You know what I mean? So, and even if they wouldn't, they just, you know, scare people. So anyway, attorneys are awesome, by the way, especially when you need one.
Yeah, they're like
So
cops.
let's
Everybody
not.
likes to beat them up until you actually.
Yeah, exactly. Let's be clear. We love our attorney. I love this guy. This guy's the bomb. I don't like the attorneys on the other side. Okay, so this specific objection has come up quite a bit. This is where I learned my script, and this is Kevin Ward. By the way, if you go to youtube.com/Kevin Ward now, this guy's site is awesome. He's a KW agent. I forget.
I listen to him all the time.
Yeah, guy's great. And I wanted you guys to hear what he has to say about this particular FSBO objection. By the way, it applies to for sale by owners as well. I mean, to expireds as well.
Hey there, it's Kevin Warren with Yes Masters Real Estate Success Training, helping you get more yeses and more successes in your business and in your life. And I got an email, a question from somebody that had been watching a video, I guess a video online about using my expired script, or my for sale by owner script. They said expired script, but this is the for sale by owner script. So I think this is a for sale by owner objection. So when you say, how can I help you, which would be the for sale by owner script, I work with a lot of buyers and sellers in the area, and I was wondering, how can I help you? What can I do to help you? And they said, well, you can bring me a buyer. And the email says, then I get stuck. What should I say next? Well, it's real simple. They want you to bring them a buyer, right? I mean, isn't that what every for sale by owner wants? So I was just wondering, what can I do to help you? Well, you can bring me a buyer. Bring you a buyer, great, because that's what I do for a living. Now, first thing, acknowledge it, bring you a buyer. Awesome, excellent, great, because that is what I do for a living, which is what you do. When you list a property, your specialty is you bring a buyer. Okay, it may not be your buyer, it doesn't matter. Nobody cares who brings the buyer. Unless you're the one bringing them. The sellers don't care who brings the buyer. All they care is they want a good buyer. So that is what I do for a living. So you are willing to pay a real estate agent that has a buyer. Excellent. Now, that's the response. You don't, notice what I said is, so you are willing to pay an agent that brings a buyer. Excellent. Because they're literally saying, yes, I'm willing to pay a commission for that. And here's the reason that's important. They've already told you they're willing to pay half of a full commission, because they are. Every for sale by, not every, but most for sale by owners are willing to pay at least some commission, and they're willing to pay to a buyer's agent. There are two things you don't want to do. Number one is say, great, well, let me see if I have a buyer, or let me come look at your house to see if it fits for one of my buyers. That's what I call a BS approach, because it's BS. You don't have a buyer. If you had a buyer, you would not have been calling them saying what you just said. Okay, if you had a buyer, you'd have called and said, hey, I've noticed your house for sale, I've got a buyer that's interested in it, when would be a good time for me to come see it? That's what you would say. However, because in the real estate industry, we're taught so much BS, and we're so used to it, I hear so many agents using that BS approach. Don't use that approach. Okay, if you don't have a buyer, don't act like you have a buyer. Number one, because it's BS on your part, and number two, because it tricks them into thinking that their philosophy of finding a buyer actually works, and that is, all I gotta do is put my house out there on the market for sale by owner, and agents will bring me buyers. Look, how many agents who have great qualified buyers are going online looking for sale by owners? And the answer is none of us. Why? Because that's not the sellers we want to work with. Because not that they're bad or evil or anything wrong with them, they're self-represented. They may or may not have a clue. They may or may not be easy to work with. They may or may not be realistic. And so buyers and agents that have qualified buyers don't go to Craigslist looking for sale by owners. They don't go to for sale by owner. They go to the MLS. So when you tell a for sale by owner, awesome, well, let me come and see if it will work for one of my buyers, you're basically putting them under the impression that their strategy is a legitimate, valid strategy to get them a result that they want. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't ever work. I'm just saying don't lead them along that path of thinking that their strategy works. You're acknowledging, great, so you are willing to work with an agent that has a buyer. Excellent, good for you. So I'm curious, how much time would you take before you might be ready to interview or hire an agent for the job of actually getting it sold for you. And I'm just going right along with the For Sale by Owner script that I teach because it's powerful, it's honest, there's no BS, and it's based on this very simple premise. If I can help you get the result that you want, help you get your property sold and still net you the money you need in your pocket after commissions and everything to make the move happen, would you be open to talking with me about that? Would you be open to interviewing me now? And it's so crazy how many of them will actually say yes to you on the very first conversation if you don't lead them along this BS path. So, hope that helps. Use it, be confident, be powerful, and know that you can help For Sale by Owners get a better result than they can get on their own. If you're wondering about how to do that, go down below here, click on the link, and subscribe to some more of my deep dive training videos on how you can help For Sale by Owners get the results that they really want. Kevin Ward here with YesMasters.com. If you like it, click the like button and subscribe for more of my awesome training videos. We'll talk soon.
You guys should all subscribe to that guy's channel.
That was good.
Yeah, he's really good. And did you guys catch the real meaty part of the script at the end? What was it?
How long will it take you before you consider?
That's the intro. The meat of the script was what? You're right
Well,
about.
not only how long, but, you know, what do you need, you know, if you can get what you need to net.
There you go. If I could show you, right?
Right.
Or if I could help you, actually he says don't say show. If I could help you get your house sold, get where you want to be, and net you the same or more money than you're going to net by doing it yourself, would you be open to talking to me about that?
That's a very similar script to the one I used when I was doing For Sale by Owners, and it's not how long. If you can't sell your house by yourself, would you be interested in working with a realtor to help you sell your house?
Yeah.
So I didn't put a time limit on it. As soon as they say yes, then I stay in touch with them.
Yeah. There's a company out there that's teaching something different than that. That's teaching, well, what you do is you tell them you have a buyer, and then you go meet with them, and then when you meet with them, you talk to them about how you can maybe net more money, do this, and that's just bait and switch. He calls it BS. It is. I just think, look, because it's true, and people can smell that 100 miles away. And yeah, will some of them meet with you? Yeah, but a lot of them are just going to go like this because they can tell right on the phone that it's BS, and they're waiting for a bait and switch, and they don't want you in their house because when you first called them, you called them and said what?
I have a buyer for your house.
How can I help you?
You said no. If you're using this script, you said what? What were you saying?
How can I help you?
Yeah, you called them up and said, hey, I noticed your home is privately available in the MLS, and that's what I do for a living. I bring people buyers and stuff like that, and I just wondered how I can help you, right? And if you go from that to, they know that's BS, because you would have called them and said, hey, I'm calling you right now because my buyers are by your For Sale by Owner sign, and they asked me to give you a call. Are you cooperating with agents? If you are, I'd like to meet with you, see if you can show me the house, and maybe we'll set something up to bring my buyer through, right? That's what you're going to do. They know that because probably someone else has already done that. So I love this guy. I love the way that script goes. We're out of time. I don't want to keep you guys past the time, but does anybody have anything they want to add to that?
You know, the next step I'd like to see is the commission objection process in that. Okay, you've gotten the guy to start dialoguing, and then you say, no, I get it listed at 6%. How do you start that dialogue of, well, wait a minute, you're taking me from 3 or 0 to 3, and now you want 6. I'd like to see that played out as a whole script.
Once you got them talking about money, you pretty much got them.
Yeah, because
so is that the only, okay, so is commission the only objection you have to listing with me right now? Because maybe we can talk about that.
First, you want to isolate the objection. If you watch it on here, it's really good. He'll tell you about that as well. But first, you want to isolate the objection because you don't ever want to handle one objection. And anybody who has to leave, don't feel like you have to say it for this.
What was the email address?
YouTube.com/Kevin Ward now. So isolate the objection. If that is the only objection, then when somebody's objecting about commission, what are they really objecting about?
Seller net.
Your overall value that you're bringing to the table.
No, their bottom line, that's all they care
Seller
about,
net.
what they walk away with.
Seller net,
No,
always.
sometimes it's the value. They don't see the value.
Yeah, if they don't see the value, they're not gonna pay the commission.
Well, exactly, which is about net, right? It's about
Value
net.
equals net.
Price, yeah.
Equals MC squared.
You're exactly, but what I mean by that is, somebody who's shopping on price is concerned with the bottom line of saving the money. So you're right, Timothy, you're both right. They're not seeing the value, right? But they equate the value to their net.
Bottom line.
And the truth is, if you list the house, and it is your unique value proposition, Chris, something that's gonna net them more money. than they would net if they just sell their house for sale by owner. I would submit to you that anyone selling their house for sale by owner is gonna leave about 7% on the table or more.
Is that a
And how much
statistic
is the
that you can
typical
throw around
commission?
with, was that a real
That's
statistic?
That's an NAR statistic nationwide. Is gonna leave about 7% on the table, which is 1% more than the commission that you charge, okay?
And what's more important, what you pay me or what you put in your pocket?
Yeah, that's kind of where your unique value proposition needs to come from. And we go over that stuff a lot in coaching and in here. Go on Kevin Word Now, watch it. Go on KWU and watch Chris Heller handle that, or Nikki Ubaldini handle that. They're awesome at that. And it's all on KW Connect. Or come to the Thursday Mastermind and ask everyone, and you'll get a bunch of great action on that.
I just wanna tell you real quick, I had an old client who sold his house, an investment property, to his cousin, and they wanted to do it without a realtor. And, you know, they picked this price, he thought he had it handled. The appraiser went to do, I did the loan for the cousin. When the appraiser went there, he said to the seller, you know, the guy who owned it, he goes, "What are you selling this house for this price for?" You know, talking about the 7% below, he said, "You could be getting much more for this." You know, and then.
And there's already a purchase contract in
Right.
place.
And then the seller comes to me, goes, I said, well, hello, you know?
Thanks, guys.